All right, so good afternoon and welcome again to the English Conversation Seminar 1. It's almost over, so we are going to have today's class and then another class as we planned from last week. So it's going to take about an hour or probably less or probably more. It depends on you, the audience, what you want, okay? And so I'm going to start sharing the screen so we can start our class. Let me know if you can see the screen, please. Okay, and I have to share it different.
Yes.
So like this one. Can you see the whole presentation now? Yes?
Yeah.
Is it full page?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Perfecto. That's awesome. Okay, so we have two more, Agustin and Ramon. Ramon is having trouble entering. All right, so let's start. Let's don't use too much of our time because, like you were mentioning, there is a lot of work, a lot of homework, a lot of extra work. So we need to start going, right? Okay, we're going to continue with the last unit, with unit 4, unit number 4 that we are been studying. And we're going to keep talking about the dialogue, the conversation. And as we promised at the end of this class, we're going to talk about the question suggestions for your interview. Right before we started this class, I had a question from one of your classmates asking me if it's okay to have it your interview or your conversation that you're going to record, if it was okay to have it online or through the phone. And that's perfect. We said that actually with this pandemic situation that we are experiencing in this year 2020, we have to consider all the possible options, and it's much better if we keep doing things like this, like a video conference or a phone call. You can even get the messages, like the audio messages from WhatsApp, and then you can just put them all together in one file, and that's it. So that's for
I
your
have a
final.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
So it's only the voice to record the voice?
Yes, it's only the voice.
Okay, so we can we don't have to be present with that person.
No, no,
Like
no.
person to person. No?
No, no, you don't need to do that as it right now because of this pandemic situation. If it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
like this, we could have that face to face, but no. So it's okay not to be face to face. And I'm going to open you a spot for that to submit those. That's your final homework. So I'm gonna open you a spot on the Canvas platform. Plus, you're going to submit it, and then you're also going to grade everyone's uh, interviews. So it's going to be two different spots. So you're going to have a rubric to check all of the files and give your points to all of your classmates. And yeah, well, the original one that you have to submit your file. Okay. Van a tener dos espacios abiertos, uno para entregar el audio y otro donde van a poder ver los audios, y van a tener una hoja, una rúbrica donde ustedes van a calificar también los audios de sus compañeros. Okay. So, the last time that you have to submit your audios, it's next week, in a week. So next Tuesday, the 8th, December the 8th. And then from there, you're gonna have about a day so you can listen and grade all of your classes. Well, it can actually be 2 days. That's fine with me. 2 or 3 days, it's okay. So you can gather your time and complete the task. Okay. So the final grade is not just going to be me, it's going to be everyone's classification and grading. Okay, good, good. All right, so today, informal and formal dialogue, telephone conversation, asking and giving directions, and interview question suggestions. So we continue with the class that where we were left last time. And so let's go. Here. So we have to talk about this, formal versus informal conversation. And as you can see from these pictures that you are taking a look right now, formal conversation is usually in the work environment. Most of the time, it's going to be related to work. And sometimes it's in some events that might or might not be related to work, but related to people that you don't know that close, and you cannot speak informal. You cannot speak as too friendly to them because you want to keep it all of the time being 100% respectful. And since you don't know the other person, you have to keep it very, very formal. Okay. Whereas if you see the picture on the right side of this slide, you can be more relaxed. You can be drinking coffee or whatever. You can gather with friends. And that's what it's understood as an informal conversation. I'm going to talk about both of them, a little bit about both of them in the next slides. So let's go. Let's go to the next slide. So considering what a formal conversation is, here you have sort of like the definition and then characteristics that tells you what really is a formal conversation. So you have here, normally is in medium-sized to large-sized companies, because you're not going to see that in small companies where you have like 3, 4, 10 employees. Everybody knows each other, so it's a more friendly environment, and you can even speak informal to your boss because it's like the second family. But in bigger companies, that's not the usual, so you have to remain speaking formally. And usually when we talk about formal conversations, formal dialogues, when we're at the job, then it's usually from the higher hierarchy to the lower hierarchy. Speaking of the management level to the other levels, management, supervising, and then the rest of the employees, just to put it into a resume. Okay. So yes, normally it's from the chain of command and down, but it's also the other way around. So from the lower positions to the upper positions, because the dialogue conversation should happen both directions, from the ones from the top to the ones from the bottom, the ones from the bottom to the ones from the top, and at the same levels also. And it should be considered formal. But the thing is that when you're talking about same levels, especially not in management, but in lower positions at the job, then it becomes informal conversation because you work next together. As we say it in Spanish, elbow to elbow. You work next to each other every day. You see each other every day. That the conversation becomes informal. So the words that you use are not that formal anymore. Then characteristics. Let's see the characteristics for a formal conversation or a formal dialogue. Normally, like we were saying, it requires a vertical organization with the recognition of authority. Normally, there will be someone that is the authority in part or being part of that conversation. Then there's always a set of structure. A structured path is followed. It allows for very little or sometimes no flexibility. It's very formal, very serious conversation with very few expectation. So it goes just with that guidance through the written channel. While it can go two ways, it usually goes downward. So it usually goes, as we were saying, from the people from the top of the jobs to the other one. Okay. And it maintains a standard that needs to be respected. You just follow that. especially if you are not the CEO or the management in that company. All right, so there are also some channels for that. It's not just that it needs to be face to face. With nowadays, as you're seeing here in this slide, in this visual aid, nowadays you can see that. Yes, is there any question? No. Okay. Okay. So now we can see that we have different channels. It's not just face to face. We have the internet, and especially today, nowadays with this pandemic again, so we have to rely too much on virtual communication. So we have communication, formal communication through email. We have also formal communication through websites, internal forums, printed statements, news and bulletins. So that information that it's even published, that, for example, the bulletins that they don't need for an answer back, is part of communication. And so somehow at some point it was a conversation in a meeting, and it ended up being as a it ended up being this part of a channel of communication through conversation. Okay, so we have also we need also to rely on these channels, which involved the virtual channels. And you know that, like, the most common right now, especially at the job, is email. You can have a conversation, you write an email, then you get a response, then you give another email, you get another response, and so on. It's going to continue going like that. Okay. So now we see the informal conversation. The informal is very, very different, especially if you take a look at this. If you check this visual aid, you can see from the picture, like, there is two friends, and they are even sitting down in a position that it's even informal. They're looking at each other, they're bending their bodies. They seem to be speaking with a friend, not just an acquaintance, and they seem to be at ease when they are speaking, for the movements of their body. Remember that the body language tells you more than just what you are speaking. Okay, so speaking of this, when you talk about informal conversation, you can talk about conversations with family, conversations at sports, at games, with socializing, when you're socializing, and, for example, when you're eating out, when you go out for a restaurant, shopping for clothing, it's informal conversations. Even if you're going to ask if you're the customer and you ask to the helper there, then it still is an informal conversation. It can be a little formal, but it's not too much of formal conversation, because it's a simple type of shopping. And there are some informal conversations through the phone, but remember this: through phone conversations, it could be both. It could be very formal, or it could be just informal conversations. It always depends from the phone who is the receiver of your phone call, and vice versa, if you're the receiver, and who is the one who's calling, the caller. So it will depend on the people involved in that conversation to mention that you could turn that conversation informally or formally. Here you're seeing in this slide, you're taking a look at tips for informal conversations. For example, in families, we can have a conversation about brothers, about kids, about pets. We can have conversations about names, ages, about where those people live, about the family members, about the normal everyday chores. That word is lo que tienen que hacer en casa. Those are the chores. Chores, not shorts. Chores. chores. So those are las cosas como limpiar, recoger, mover, lo que harían dentro de la casa. Those type of conversations you can have about families. And about sports, it could be about people loving sports, and you can have a conversation about just about one kind of sport, or what was the score from this last weekend from the games. It was a baseball game, it was the NFL, we're playing they are sports happening every day, so you can have a conversation about those. And it's definitely informal. And asking a few questions about the local game, something that is happening here about the region, is also interest for everyone. And it's informal. It's definitely informal. Socializing. So when we are eating out, you can talk about favorite food. You can talk about favorite drinks. You can talk about what you're going to ask, what you're going to eat, the dish that you're going to ask, and so on. And that's, for example, here you can talk also about the cuisine that you like, and it's telling us here, well, for example, there is Korean, French, Chinese, Spanish, Mexican cuisine. Who doesn't love Mexican cuisine? And Italian cuisine, because you're always you are going to mention, hey, pizza. Okay, that's Italian. And like I said, for phone conversations, it could be informal or it could be formal. And we're going to have here a suggestion for phone conversations, as we say at the beginning. And this is now, we're going for telephone conversation. This one, it's different. It could be formal or informal, and it could be scary. When it is your first time, you can get nervous. And like I said, it could be scary. It could make you feel that you don't know how to do it. But here, I'm going to give you a few tips of these conversations. How do you start a phone conversation? And differences between phone conversations. And then you can just rely on those. And let's just wait for the next slide, because I'm going to make a suggestion, which is really nice over there. So here it is. Talking on the phone may be an essential part of the job. And here's the thing. You being as an engineer, you're going to be working, it doesn't matter if it is your own company or if you're working under some other people's company. The advice is that you work at least a few years in the real world, so you can get experience, and then you can start your own business. But that's an advice. So it doesn't really matter if it is your business or you're working under somebody else's. You are going to have, in this globalized world that we are, and Mexico is part of it, you're going to be having phone conversations in English. That's the reality. That's the reality. And you are going to have to speak in English. And then you need to learn how to speak through the phone when you are not seeing the other person. But thankfully, nowadays, in this century, in this 2020, you can also, you can call as a video call. You can use your phone, your cell phone, and do a video call. And now it's easier because you're seeing the face of the other person. But most of the time at the job, you use the regular simple phone. So that's the thing. Most of the time, it's going to be part of your job. You're going to have to call someone, or they are going to call you. So let me just tell you, like here in Hermosillo, in the capital of Sonora, we have companies that are associated with Japanese people, with German people, Australian, American, meaning United States, people from the United States, and of course Mexicans, and Chinese, people from China, and so on, just here in our state. So at some point, someone is going to call you or you are going to call someone that doesn't speak Spanish. So you have to speak in English. So this is the thing, reality setting, you may need to speak on the phone in English every day or even as part of an exam or job interview. When you are just going to start, you may have phone interviews when you haven't even started working yet. Sometimes your job may even depend on a phone call. It might be as important as that. Sometimes your job may even depend on a phone call. So it is very serious. You need to know how to establish a telephone conversation. So let's see. We have an example, I believe that I included. Yes. So I'm going to be giving you tips for it. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's the first thing that you need to remember. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Make mistakes. It doesn't matter. You need to communicate. You need to remember that. You need to communicate with the other person who is at the phone, the other person who is there. You need to communicate. So, if you have broken English, si sabe poquito inglés, you need to speak. It doesn't matter. You can make mistakes. It's fine as long as you learn from your mistakes. So those are the best tips. You can use new phrases through the phone every time that you're going to talk to the phone in English. You can practice new grammar concepts in phone calls, like modal verbs, like expressions followed by verbs ending ing, or expression followed by infinitives, like the verbs in infinitives. Let's see. Modal verbs are like this. Instead of saying can I ask, is could I ask? Who's calling, please? How may I help you? This is usually for answering the phone. Answering. Our expression followed by verbs ending ing. Do you mind waiting a few minutes? Thanks for calling. That's also about answering. Expression followed by infinitives. I'm calling to clarify. This is the person calling. This is the caller. I'm calling to clarify. I'd like to leave him a message. When is a good time to call? And also, one of the best tips for you that if you are not so confident with English, you can do this, the role play with a friend. Role play with a friend. You can just call a friend and you can exchange roles to practice an English conversation through the phone. And it should be fun. There should be a lot of fun about that. So you can do that, practice that, and it's going to be a good time. I assure you that. Oh, here, I included here this zero drawing. You are suggested to go and watch this video from Rachel English. It's on her YouTube channel, from Speak English Easily on the Phone. I believe that I suggested one of her videos before. I was looking through more videos and then I found this one. Let me just show you a little bit of it. Just a little bit. I'm not going to show you much because, yeah, I shouldn't. I'm just, no, just because we're going to take the whole time. It's about like 15 minutes. And so I believe that it could be better just to select the one that we are going to see. This is that I'm using two different screens and I need to move it towards the one screen that I'm using for Zoom right now. So that's why you see me looking through the other side, but it's just fine. So I have her here. Now I moved it and here. So it's her channel, Rachel's English. And He's going to suggest, and it also has, you can activate the subtitles. You can see the subtitles in English, and it's going to suggest you ways to speak through the phone. And she gives you the examples. She gives you even the tones. If you go farther away, it's going to give you tones on how to speak. And like I said, examples. So I strongly suggest you, strongly recommend you to go and check that video. It's recommended to you. Okay, so I'm really strongly suggesting for you to go and continue watching the video. Yes, so you can learn a little more about speaking through the phone. Take a look at recommendations. Check phrases, normal regular phrases that you can use when we are calling someone. You normally say hello. You have to greet. Hello, may I speak? Could I speak? Could I ask? It's really normally when you're talking to an unknown person, to alguien que no conoce, you are going to keep it formal conversation. That's why the modal verbs are mentioned here. May I? Could I? So you need to remember those. And that's why I'm very strongly suggesting that you go and check this video here, please. So remember to go and check it and watch it. Take your time to watch it, and also take the time to relax and learn a little something more, not just about simple or general conversation. And another of the topics that we are covering right now is asking and giving direction. That's another type of conversation, starts different, and it's usually, if you are the one asking for directions, you are looking for some place and you need to find that place. And then if you are a little lost, then you are going to need to keep asking for it, and you're going to find another person to ask for directions. And then you start asking questions, and then the other person answers to you back with those directions. So there is a way to ask for directions, and there's also a way, if you are the one giving directions, there's also the way to give directions back. So this example that we're watching here, this is from englishstudypage.com. All of the references, you're going to find them at the end for all of this information, and you can go back and visit and learn a little more. As usual, you have all of the web pages or places to go and visit them. So here, take a look at this. Like, for example, asking for direction. How do I get to the library? Is there a pet shop near here? Where is the nearest post office? Do you know where the shopping center is? What's the best way to get to the amusement park from here? Could you help me, please? I'm looking for the bank. Can you tell me the way to the Nature Hotel? Those are questions to get information about how to go, how to get to that place. So you need to mention the place that you're looking for. And given directions, you need to have a sense of directions. And I'm making a point there because there's a lot of people who gets lost and don't have sense of directions. I don't know if you are one of those, but I have seen many people like getting lost in their own town. Like, am I north and I'm south? Was I supposed to go left? Was I supposed to go right? So you need to have a sense of directions to be able to give directions. But over here is where you talk about going straight ahead of the traffic lights, continue straight ahead for about a mile. So you give distance. You tell them to keep going. You give a distance. Keep going straight ahead. You will see it on the right. So you also tell the position from the street. Turn left past the phone shop. Turn left, right at the second turning. Take a right, left at the junction. Cross the taxi rank and you're there. And you're gonna say like, hey, but at this time when you can take your phone and ask your phone for directions, yeah, but that doesn't work anytime. Sometimes the map and on the GPS from your phone, it hasn't been upgraded. And if there were changes in the city this year, for example, you may get lost. So you need to ask another person. The phone is not going to give you everything. So the GPS is not going to give you the right direction sometimes. Sometimes. I'm just saying sometimes. And then you need to ask for directions. So this is the way you're going to establish a conversation with a person that you don't know. So for example, especially if you're traveling to a city that you don't know, well, you're going to ask for directions. Before asking for directions, you need to greet the person. And here, kindly is the better way, being kind. Here are some suggestions that you can see in this slide. For example, you're going to stop a person and you're going to say, excuse me, sir or madam. Excuse me, madam. Excuse me, sir. I'm new here. I am lost. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but, and then you start asking for the directions. Another way is to say, excuse me, could you help me, please? Again, the modal verbs, could you help me, please? And then it could be another way to approach, I'm sorry. Or the answer could be, sorry, I'm not from around here. Sorry, I don't have sense of directions. Can you ask another person? Another way could be, excuse me, madam, I seem to be lost. Hello, sir. Hello, madam. So kind ways to approach. That's the first thing to do before you start even asking. You need to greet the other person. You need to approach the other person, and then you can start greeting. And so for that, now, after we greet, after we say, excuse me, after we already say hi, now we can start asking for directions. This is about asking for directions. And these are some examples. You can see those examples here. How can I get to? Let's just say that we're looking for the main plaza or the main square. It's like, how can I get to the square? How can I get to downtown? And then we're gonna get directions. Where is the library? Where is, let's see, for example, that you're visiting Moctezuma and you wanna get to the bank, and then you need to ask for directions for the bank. Where is the bank? How can I get to the bank? How far is the bank from the entrance of Moctezuma? You see, are you getting the idea? So you ask for directions with this type of questions. Is there a taqueria around here? For example, you're trying to eat and then you're looking for a place. You don't know. There are no directions on your GPS. So you ask people. Could you tell me how to get to? How do I find? Pardon me, I'm lost. How do I get to? Which is the best way to? Which way do I go to get to? What's the best way to? Excuse me, do you know where D is? For example, you are new to Moctezuma, you don't know how to get to the university. Excuse me, do you know where the university is? Is this the right way for the university? Those type of questions. Yes. So it's simple, but still, you know how to ask in Spanish. It's about the same, but you need to remember how to say those questions in English. So you need to be formal. You need to remember to say that, excuse me, pardon, please. And then at the end, you need to remember, thank you. You need to remember to say thank you. Given directions, it needs a little more knowledge. You need to know the place. You need to know the area. And after the other person asks you for directions, you're the one giving the directions. So things like go straight ahead, turn back, go back, turn left, turn right, go along, cross, take the first, second road on the left or right. It's on the left or it's on the right. Go past. The easiest way to go is to, the best way is to, it's on the corner of next block. It's in the middle of the block, and so on. So you need to remember, that's why I included this picture here. You need to remember that we're going to talk about going north, going south, going east, going west, which is turn right, turn left, continue going straight, go straight ahead, go past, cross, at the corner of, next to, opposite, between. For example, if we remember that we were looking for the bank in Moctezuma, we can say, oh, you can just go straight, find downtown, or once you are the main square, the plaza of Moctezuma, you can just go straight ahead. Once you pass the church, you're going to see the hospital. It should be on your right. The bank should be on your right, opposite or in front of the hospital. There you go. You have given the directions how to get to a place. You need to practice this. All right. So examples, here are examples. And here I'm asking for, you can see we have 5 different examples, A and B. I'm asking for some people who want to participate today. We can have volunteers. You see 5 different dialogues asking for directions. I need different volunteers. Who wants to start? Hello? Hello there. Or I'm going to point to people. Let me see who's here. Uh-huh. And now people start leaving. Connie, you want to be one part of it? I can see that you were there. Good, Connie. So you're going to be A. And then I need someone to be B. Who wants to be
Me.
B? Carmen,
Carmen.
good. So we're going to practice with you too. Let's go for the number 1. Let's see. A is going to be Connie. B is going to be Carmen. So go ahead. On the count of 3, then you start. 1, 2, 3.
Excuse me, sir. Is there a bank around here?
Yes, there's one across the street next to the library.
Very good. Very good. That's how it's going to sound. It's not just one voice. It's the 2 people participating. The one asking for directions and the one giving directions. In this case, Connie was the one asking for directions. Carmen was the one giving directions. Let's switch it. Connie, you're going to keep participating. Let's do the number 2. Now, Carmen, you ask for directions. Connie, you give the directions. Carmen, you're A. Connie, you're B. On the count of 3, you start, Carmen. 1, 2, 3.
Can you give me directions to the patrol station?
Of course I will. Just follow this road until you come to the main road. Turn right and then continue for about 100 meters. You will see the petrol station on the left.
On the left. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Very, very good. I want to point something very interesting in this type of conversation. You are asking for where is the patrol station, right? And so for those things, hey, what's going on? I'm trying to write down and it's not letting me. I'm going to use the other one. Just give me a second because I'm going to write over here. So I'm going to use the one from PowerPoint then. So there is no stopping me. Okay, so the patrol station. This is very formal English. This is more like British English, but it is understood everywhere. Es la gasolinera. But you can also ask for the gas station. If you ask either way, people will understand anywhere in the world. Where's the gas station or how to get to the petrol or gas station? Good. Now, take a look at the answers. It includes size, measurement, a length. It includes also length size. You need to remember this. Sometimes in directions, you're going to talk about meters or kilometers. If you keep going, it's about like 5 kilometers from here, you're gonna see it on your left. Same thing. So including in directions, you're going to talk about length, a physical measurement. Yes, exactly. That's part of direction. All right. So let me just erase all of this. Yes, good. So now we're good to continue. Good to go. Do I have another people volunteering for number 3?
Me.
Okay, Valeria and
Gilberto.
Gilberto. Are you there, Gilberto?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Okay. So Valeria, you're B. Gilberto, you're A. Number 3.
Okay.
Number 3. Let's start. Gilberto, you are A. Valeria, you're B. Okay, on the count to 3. 1, 2, 3.
Is there a bank near here?
Yes, there is one in Orange Street. Orange Street in the 3rd road on your right.
Good. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. It's telling us, yeah, there is one. It's confirming. Then after confirmation, it's telling you have to keep on going to the 3rd street. You need to find that, the 3rd road, and it's going to be on your right. Good. Good directions, Valeria. You're good. Okay, let's continue with the 2 of you. Valeria, now you're going to be A, and Gilberto, you're going to be B. Let's go to number 4, please. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Excuse me, where is the school?
It is across from the police office.
Okay, good. Very good. Excuse me. Remember that when we say the way to approach? Let's go to number 8. Excuse me. Number A in number 2. Can you? Number A in number 4 again. Excuse me. So those modal verbs and a way to be polite, very kind, to approach to people that you don't even know. It's unknown people. So you need to be very kind and very polite. Excuse me, where's the school? It is across from the police office. Good. Now, probably this is going to give another dialogue because it's like, okay, where is the police office? Can you tell me how to get there? Right? It's probably going to give us more conversation. Can we have another 2 volunteers for number 5 for the big dialogue in number 5?
Me.
Maria, good. You're going to be A. And another volunteer, please.
Me.
Good, Anna. Good. We see you today. Okay. So, Anna, you're going to be B. And Maria, you are A. So, you guys are starting on the count on 3. Maria, you're starting 1, 2, 3.
Excuse me, could you tell me where the nearest bank is, please?
Walk 2 blocks and turn left at the bookstore. The bank will be across the street, next to the post office.
It's from here?
No, it's just a 10 minutes walk.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you. Very, very good. Very good pronunciation. This is a long one. It's longer because it's being more polite the way that this person asked, excuse me, could you tell me where the nearest bank is? And then the person answering, the person giving directions, walk 2 blocks, then turn left. The bank will be across the street. And then it didn't just stop there. There was another question. Is it far from here? And then the other person says, no, very close. It's about 10 minutes walk. And then again, don't forget, when you're asking for directions, you need to always give thanks. That's the formal part of this. This is a very formal conversation, so you need to say thank you, thank you, thank you very much, thanks a lot, thank you, sir, thank you, madam, but you need to give thanks. Remember that asking and giving directions, it's formal and it's very respectful. So the other person answered back, you're welcome. And that's it. Okay. So good, 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 good. Good thing. So so that's it. And for today, we need to talk about those the homework interview questions. You're probably interviewing, so I'm moving forward. I'm going to the homework that you have that you're currently working with. And for that homework, I'm only suggesting questions here. You can ask me through advice time. You can consult me if that's okay. Pueden preguntar en asesoría directamente, okay? And so you let me know that. And one very useful thing is that you can prepare a dialogue beforehand. You can prepare the questions and the other person can prepare the answers. You practice and then at the end you finally record it. Okay. So for example, if you are interviewing a friend, some suggestions for questions are like this one. What's your favorite childhood memory? Do you have any regrets? If so, what are they and why? But remember this, for your interview, you need to speak half of the time in that recording. So, for example, if the person here answers back, for example, how will you describe your childhood home? Question number 6. And then your friend answers back, oh, I describe it as a small house. It was yellow. It had 3 rooms and 1 bathroom, but it was very nice and comfy. You need to answer back. Don't start another question. Start a conversation with your friend or the person that you're interviewing. Keep it as a conversation. You answer back with something related to you in the same question, and then you ask the next question. For example, you received that answer that the house was small, it had 3 rooms, it had 1 bathroom, it was yellow, and it was cozy. It was nice. So you can answer back, oh, that's good. I also lived in a small house when I was little, and my house had 3 rooms and 1 bathroom too. So that it was very similar to your house. Good. And now you can go to the other question. Are you understanding the dynamics? You need to keep it not just as asking. You need to answer something with the answer from your person that you're interviewing. Okay. And there are other questions suggested here, like for example, what's the number 1 thing on your bucket list? Do you have a bucket list? People tend to have this list. Not everybody has this. A bucket list is a list of things that you want to accomplish in your life. And there could be things like buying a house, having a dog, but there could also be things like traveling to Australia, traveling to Europe, go bungee jumping, or things like that. So that's a very nice, interesting question, actually, to whoever. But it has to be a close person to you, because I'm not just gonna ask this about the bucket list to a person that you don't know. For example, that person could say, oh, okay, the first thing on my list is about traveling to France. I want to go and see the Eiffel Tower. And then you can answer back, oh, that's nice. I also want to go there, but the first thing on my bucket list is that I want to go bungee jumping. And it's like, okay, good. And now you keep conversing. Your dialogue, remember that this homework, it's sort of like about a 3-minute dialogue conversation. Let me choose this. It should be about like 3 to 5 minutes, no longer than that, because it should be simple. So in about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, you can have like 2, 3, 4 questions, maybe about 4 questions. And then you should have a conversation surrounding those questions. Okay, so it's sort of like an interview, but it should be an interview close to a conversation. We need to have a dialogue, not just of questions and answers. Dialogue, a true dialogue. Okay, so that's what we are suggesting. A few questions here. What's your bigger career goal? For example, question number 4 here. And then you can say like, okay, I would like to work with an international company in Germany, and I would like to be a manager in that company. Okay, that's your career goal. You can also answer things, or you can have the answer from your friend. Oh, I would like to have my own company in about 5 years from starting. And then you can answer back, oh, that's nice. I would also like to have my company, but yes, same as you. I would like to have personal experience in the job area because I want to collect information from here and from there, and then set up my own business. Good. Now we're talking. Okay. Any questions? These are just suggestions. I'm not telling you, you're not forced to have these questions. These are just suggestions. Okay. Suggestions. Any questions? No questions?
Nope.
No, no question.
No
Good.
question.
I'm so good. I'm telling you all of this, I guess. Okay, so here is where I gather the information that you can see on the on this presentation, and you can also go and visit those web pages to get more information about that, or however you like it more, you like it better. And before finishing this class, I just want to mention that we have one more class, a last class. And I'm not giving you extra homework right now. I explain things about the homework through this class. So the people who is not present, they need to go and watch the video. And if you didn't understand things, you can go back and watch the video of this class again, and you're totally fine by doing that. I just want to remind you that you are working on that interview dialogue conversation. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Make sure that you ask me. Don't stay with the doubts in your mind and then end up doing some work that it wasn't correct. Okay, so make sure to ask me. I'll be available, and you can ask also your classmates if you are more comfortable with them. I usually, I'm very glad that I usually get questions from Gilberto, Carmen, Connie, Maria, Valeria, sometimes Anna. So I usually get questions from them, and I'm pretty sure that the rest of you are asking them. That's fine. If you get comfortable with them, it's fine. It's good for them to practice also. Oh, I also get questions from Benjamin too. Since he never comes to these classes, he's usually asking me and asking you. I know that he asks you also, so that's part of it. And as long as you practice your conversation, remember that this class is called English Conversation Seminar, and we have a second part next semester. So with that said, I'm gonna finish the class of today. I'm going to dismiss the class, and I'll see you on Friday. Next class on Friday, and Friday morning. I'll send you the link, and then we'll finish our class for the semester next Friday, next coming Friday. Okay? Are we good? Yes?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so good. Nice to see you today. Thank you for coming to class. And we'll see each other at the end of this week. Be safe and keep working. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.